what's up, everybody? Welcome. House Divided, Orange Bloods Live. We're here on a Friday, taking you into the weekend. Jeff Ketchum, Chad Hastings, also known as the Men in Black. I think that's black that you've got on today. Is that like a
yes.
What are we going? WWE there? No, it's Whataburger.
No, the Black Whataburger. The Black Whataburger shirt.
Fair enough. I'm celebrating Liverpool being the best in the world at what they do, Mr. Hastings, and so I'm basking in the glow of a good Liverpool day, but it's a great Longhorn weekend. It's part of what we're talking about today. Like, comment, subscribe to the page, hit that thumbs up button if you're just excited to be a Longhorn fan because life is good. And you can jump into the Specs chat it up, send us some super chats. We do appreciate that. And we'll real quickly let everybody know the Texas Card House and Hijack Poker are the title sponsors of this bad boy. They love us. We love them. We love poker. Scan that QR code or go to hijackpoker.com and play real poker for real money against real people. Put your credit card in like you do just about anything else, and boom, you're good to go. Let's get it on. I'm a big tournament guy more than a cash guy. Some people are the opposite. They've got the big noon tournament going on right now. Chad, I'm not going to do that to you today because I'm already kind of distracted going into the weekend. And what I didn't think you needed was more of me not paying attention to the job. So
you didn't add another ball or chainsaw or club to juggle today?
Well, so here's the thing. Like, I'm going to be busy this weekend. Like, Saturday and Sunday are going to keep me busy.
Right.
So this is it. I got a window on Friday.
Okay. So basically, I'm getting in the way of your chill out time today is what you're saying.
A little bit. Not you. It's not you. I don't take this personal. I'm not walking around going, golly, Chad. I'm walking around. I got to think about Jaylen Lot and Felix Ojo and all these offensive linemen all weekend long. All I want is 5 minutes to watch like a sliver of a movie, but Chad won't let me have the time off. Like, I'm not doing that.
Okay, good.
It felt good, though, to do that, like, let that out.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what I need. I don't know.
I love the notion that I could determine whether you have a day off. That's my favorite notion of all time. Right. Because that's the power I have.
I've become Dabo over here with regards to, like, saying your name.
Chad from Elgin. It's Chad. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Chad, though, we've been into the recruiting vibe a lot this week. It's been a big part of the discussion, and the Longhorns it's not an overstatement to say a real monster visit weekend coming up. I think the two most important targets in the state of Texas that the Longhorns are recruiting are coming in this weekend. I think you can make a case that Felix Ojo is, I think, the most important prospect in this class, with all due respect to the Lamar Browns and the various names that we'll bring up, Adia Bell here and there. Like, there are a lot of big-time guys that they're after, but, you know, we don't even need to go back into the relitigation of why he's that important. We can do that later, but he is really important. And by the way, and we'll get into this as well, there's a lot of guys that Texas really cares about that will be taking trips in addition to the ones that Texas are hosting. So there's just a lot to watch. This is when recruiting at the college football level really gets into overdrive this weekend, next weekend. And so here we are. We're in the belly of the beast. It's time to go.
Yeah, and obviously we tell you guys all the time, but that QR code is extra important today because it's the easiest way to get signed up with orangebloods.com. You got the War Room hitting last night. We're talking to you on a Friday when the show first hits. So get to orangebloods.com, the full list of guys that are visiting. And to what Ketch just said, you can also go to orangebloods.com and check out some names of guys Texas is interested in, that Texas is very high on, that may not be visiting Texas this weekend, but just to kind of keep an eye on where they are. Keep the friends close and enemies closer, if you will, in terms of the rivals, the recruiting rivals and rivals overall that may be taking a look at some of these guys. That was fascinating for me to look at today, Catch, because it really gives you a full picture of the weekend, not just the guys coming to Austin, but those other guys that we'll get into. But like you said, it all starts with Ojo, and the short way, I think, to describe it, you tell me if I'm wrong, is with what happened with Fasusi last year, massive in-state guy that doesn't end up at Texas. If that were to happen 2 years in a row, that just would not be good news for Steve Sarkisian. You've been talking about the importance of Ojo for a long time. Since then, and this weekend's a huge chance for them to maybe not finish it, obviously, but just a huge opportunity to make an impact.
Yeah, look, there's a good chance that Trevor Guzby's 1 year and off to the NFL after this year. If he's as good as I think he has a chance of being, he's the best guy on that offensive line. This is going to be a team that plays a lot of high-profile games. So if he's playing well against the likes of Georgia and Ohio State and Texas A&M, and there are teams on this schedule that have good defensive lines, and so I think there's a chance that he could be gone after this season, which means you start looking at the immediate future as soon potentially as next year. I don't know that I'm a big buyer that Nick Brooks is a franchise left tackle. I know there's a lot of excitement with him coming into the program, and he's got some Cam Williams in him. He's a big old boy, and you can see that I think he's going to be a player at this level. But does that mean he's a cornerstone, Kelvin Banks, Trevor Guzby level left tackle? I don't know. I don't know that I buy that. I do buy that about Felix Ojo. And so, he's a guy that as soon as 2026, which could be Arch Manning's last season in Austin, it's kind of what we're projecting. It's a big deal. They need an injection of talent there. I would argue, looking back, knowing that what we know about Guzby, that Fasusi, I think even would take on a bigger importance. Maybe give that kid that was his friend a scholarship. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah,
because that kid went there as a walk-on, but eventually OU's just going to have a 105 like everybody else. That kid's probably going to be on scholarship. So I don't know. I think it's a really big deal. Is one of those positions: quarterbacks, left tackles, edge players. You can't have enough. Yeah. You can't ever not be elite, I think, in those. If you want to win a national championship at this level, you have to have borderline great quarterback play. And if you have great quarterback play, that's the best way to win a national championship. That's how teams without roster advantages on the level of what we'll see Ohio State, Texas, and Georgia have over most of the competition this year. That's always the great equalizer. So quarterbacks, left tackles. It's why you look at Ojo and you're talking about all these other offensive linemen. It's like, I almost don't care. Just make sure you're elite at left tackle. Once you've lived in the Kelvin Banks era, I don't know how you ever go slumming again if you're Texas.
Right. Yeah. How do you go back? How do you go back? It's like if the first – I don't know personally, but I'm imagining, Catch, like the first time you do a vacation that's like not just a normal folk vacation, but like a Turks and Caicos yacht, all-inclusive. Yeah. Once
you fly first class, like overseas.
Yeah, right. Once you do that, the idea of like, hey, we're going to go to Schlitterbahn and stay in a hotel. Like, no, that's not.
It's when you fly first class to London.
Yeah.
And then they want you to fly coach back. And you're like,
right.
Whoa.
No. I had the omelet.
And I had leg room and someone was massaging my shoulders. Now there's babies crying in my face.
I had an omelet and a nap on the way. I'm not trading that in, coming the other way. Yeah, it is. You're right. It is that area. Because the game is all about quarterbacks and attacking quarterbacks. And like you said, those three positions are so important. That's why Ojo's such a big deal.
And real quick, I would just say, look, because Guzby's come right behind Banks. And I think there's going to be, look, a guy with Guzby's profile hit, so maybe you don't need a 5-star. Trevor Guzby fell into this category of player where if you took 10 identical Trevor Guzbys, one pans out. But when the one that pans out, he pans out. Guzby's ascension is nothing short of remarkable when you just consider that this guy was kind of a kid playing basketball. Part of the knock on Guzby was that, he's like 270 pounds. I won't say John Turntine-ish because he's taller, right? It was a taller guy, longer. And in the span of a redshirt season, that dude got up to like 315 like that. And remember when we saw him last summer? And it was like, oh, 315 like that, huh? Okay.
Right. 315 is one thing. 315 stacked that way. This is not something you see all the time.
And not even beginning to feel like he's maxed out, right? And so, those things, if you'd have told everybody 12 months earlier, just so you know, literally in less than 12 months, this guy's going to be at 315 and look like $5 million, he'd have been rated as a 5-star. The thing was, he had a frame type that oftentimes gets stuck in neutral, and you never hit the lottery ticket, or when you do, it's far and few between. But the reason why you buy the lottery ticket is because when a guy pans out like that, it's very similar, Chad, to when we talk about those edge guys that are like 6'3", 225, and you look at them and you go, oh, those guys miss a lot. And then you go, yeah, but that's kind of what Colin Simmons was, and that's what Von Miller was, and that's what K'Lavon Chason was to a certain extent, right? And you go, God, what I wouldn't give to have one of those guys. And so you take the chances, but you miss more times than not. But if you could have told somebody Trevor Guzby's going to weigh 315 6 months into his college career, that guy would have been a super blue chip prospect. He did what you would have thought would have taken 3 years, and most guys never even get there. And he did it in revolutionary time. Like I don't mean to turn this into the Trevor Guzby show, but like, I don't think we talk enough about how incredible his transformation has been. I struggle to point to too many guys in the history of the Texas football program in the last 30 years that I've covered that I think have had the same ascension in the same way.
Yeah, and it is this thing, we've talked about it kind of on both fronts, but I keep going back to the performance in College Station and then that great what if for Texas on that play. What if he's in for the key play, when Sawyer gets to Ewers? Like, what if you just say, what?
That's the more haunting question for the coaches in the offseason than the quarterback question.
Yeah, or the play, even the play call, one of the play calls down there.
Yeah.
Right? Is that because they
I'm going to say no, because
that second down play call is going to haunt that would haunt me the rest of my life if I'm Sark.
It's what happened. That was that was fourth down and goal from the 8 or wherever it was on that play. Like
because it had been backed up by then.
You already were an underdog to convert that play.
True.
So,
but it's one of those things. It's one of the things that they'll think
over the course of the game, though. Could they run the ball a little bit? But I don't know. Like I think though that in the end we know that Cam Williams at 75% is not better than Trevor Guzby at 90 to 95%. And in the end, that was but you can always understand. You told yourself all season long when we get to this game, we want our big dogs. And when Cam Williams is healthy, he was one of their big dogs. And they just, that confirmation bias of it's a little bit like we just talked about with the offensive linemen. That way you take those guys with those builds because, man, when it works, it's awesome. And I think that you think about your own players that way too. And I kind of think they did that with Cam, where it was like, we're going to get the good version of Cam because when the lights come on, it'll just happen. And sometimes that's not the way. It especially doesn't always happen that way when the other team has NFL players. It's like if he's just been playing a normal guy, okay, but he's playing like a second-day NFL guy, and that guy was motivated.
Yeah, that dude was coming. He was coming on that play, no doubt.
And Chad, in addition to, and I know we got to pay bills, I was just beginning to segue to this. While we're talking a lot about Ojo and how important he would be, I freaking love Jaylen Lot. And this is the weekend.
Okay.
The Texas
Real
has.
quick.
So when we pay a bill, but when we come back, I'm going to gush about my second favorite guy.
Before, it's ironic you did that because that was going to be my guess of the next guy. But before that, before we leave Ojo, a question from Esrone. Has Ojo set a date yet? Obviously, they're mean in terms of a commitment decision. I know we talked about the defensive guys that are July 10th. Some guys have been July 4th. I haven't heard one for Ojo. Does he have one set?
It's TBA.
Okay.
And I think the cancellation of the A&M visit is an indication that we're drawing closer to a decision.
It was the OU visit for Ojo.
Sorry, yeah. I got my cancellation of visits confused there for a second.
Right. Exactly. There's another embarrassment.
A lot of them this week.
There's another embarrassment of riches for a Texas fan. Now, which guy canceled the OU visit and which guy canceled the A&M visit? I can't remember.
This is so many of these things.
Oh my God.
Sorry. That was honest to God, that was very much like the time that I thought the A&M kicker had made the field goal, and I didn't.
We're not going back. Yeah, there's no need. There's no need to go back to that one. Roan, it's a good question. We'll keep our eyes peeled for a decision date. That date will get circled.
I don't deserve to be forgiven. It's pretty hard.
And probably not. I mean, I don't know. It
was the most unintentionally bastard thing I've ever done.
Yeah, it was.
Because I didn't mean to do it, but it was a bastard thing to be a part of.
The execution does not make you evil. How much you enjoyed it once it was happening, that makes you evil. We'll keep our eyes peeled for that Ojo date. And as I would have guessed, Ketch wants to talk a little Jaylen Lot. A lot of big names coming in this weekend. We'll get to that. Right now, though, how about a little AV consultations discussion? Not from me. Let's hear from Tom and Camilla about what AV consultations can do for you.
Now, stepping up to the plate is a household name, weighing in at roughly 115 pounds with a wingspan of 98 inches. It's Samsung.
Kid, I know it's baseball season, but this isn't what I meant when I said to incorporate sports into the company commercial.
Sorry, old man. I just want everyone to know that audiovisual consultations can make your home feel like a stadium.
That's true. Audiovisual provides stadium surround sound, huge screen video, controlled lighting, and even temperature control. On our roster, every customer is an MVP.
Sounds like audiovisual knows how to score a home run with our customers.
All right, kid, that's enough with the baseball puns.
But I'm trying to tell everyone that audiovisual is a real catch. You'll love our services.
Kid?
There's nothing coming out of left field when you give us a call. We won't break your balls.
Kid, we only have a minute.
Pitch, please. I don't need your attitude right now.
Rest assured, listeners, audiovisual is much better at installing and designing custom home theaters than we are at making jokes.
Just check our stats. Give us a call at 512-255-8678 or visit us online at avconsultations.com.
You know, Catch, one of my favorite things about the AV spots is that we have lost the phrase old man in our society. Not enough kids refer to their dads as old man. I like that Camilla McKay still calls her dad old man, like automatically. It just harkens back to a different time. So there you go. All right, Catch.
Pitch, please.
Pitch, yeah. And good dad jokes, right? That was making me nothing makes me smile more than really bad dad puns and stuff. Well done. avconsultations.com. Check them out. All right, Catch. So we talked some Ojo, other big names.
Are we on a delay?
What's that?
I said, are we on a delay? Like, you look good to me, but I feel like you're responding to me late.
Oh, I don't.
Just somebody tell me in the chat if we look like we're off at all.
Right now, you look like you're right on. A second, there was a little bit. You had a little bit of the shaky video, but your audio stayed consistent while ago. So,
because usually when I talk over you, you notice it right away. Mm-hmm. Today, when I talk over you, there's like a extra second and a half of you continuing to talk before I drown you out.
Oh, I see that. I like that. That's how you're basing this timing thing.
Yeah.
I have gotten really good at knowing to just shut up when you interrupt over the years. So somebody's saying, let's see, this is the text guy says Catch is off, Chad is good.
Okay, let me come back in.
Okay. All right. We'll give that a shot. We will give that a shot. Catch is going to try to jump out. real quick. Thank you guys for jumping in. Almost 400 of you in that Specs chat. Let's give Specs a little love while we're waiting for Catch. They've got a sale going on right now. Check it out.
Kick off summer with Specs Made in America sale. We've got star-spangled savings on all your American-made favorites. All month long at Specs. Cheers to savings.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And by the way, as long as we're there, you know what else I saw in there? I saw some Deep Eddy vodka. Check out the Deep Eddy vodka tasting room. They're open. They're ready to go. We're talking to you on a Friday, 11 to 7 on Fridays, 12 to 5 on Sundays, 12 to 7 on Thursdays. Get out there. Check it out. And you can also grab a bottle of Deep Eddy if you haven't gotten to your local Specs lately. You want to do it at the tasting room. You can get on out there and do it. Go have some of that great barbecue they've got out there as well. Do it responsibly at the Deep Eddy Vodka Tasting Room. All right. Mr. Ketchum, I think, is ready to come back. Let's give him a shot. There he is in all his Liverpool glory. Ready to go.
I
Ready
feel like
to roll.
I'm on a big delay.
We made it worse?
I think we absolutely made it worse.
Yeah. By the way, this is not true, Paul. I did not send a virus to Catch after the Aggie kicker joke. No.
It was warranted, but he did not.
I can't do that. See, in the past, Catch, when we've had these situations, your video just catches up. Like your audio's fine. It just and he's just still ducked out. He's going to try to duck out and back in. But y'all have seen it. The audio is consistent. And then eventually his face gives you the blah, 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 and it'll catch up. It goes samurai movie for just a second, and then you get the catch up. So we hope that will happen. Hang on, I'll mark that one about where he got the Liverpool shirt. And I did not. Chris Bennett has made 2 different references. I'm going to get this one. Chris Bennett, no hockey masks today, chat. No hockey mask on a Friday the 13th. But my wife did note that it was Friday the 13th, and she does want to watch all the Jason movies. And I did catch your reference earlier in the chat. It was very nice on Friday the 13th. All right. Now, this is Catch back, and he does not look happy. You see that face?
Well, no, I think it's better.
No, it is better. You're right. It is better. You're a little blurry, but you're right on time. So we'll try it. Yeah, we'll try it. I think it's good.
Again, I think my family is. I think the issue is I got little baby kids on every damn device in the house.
I see.
And I think they're stealing my internet.
Okay.
So, what I don't want to do is like scream at them. I can't. If we play another like 60-second spot, though, I may have to go. Give the kids no more iPads until the show's over.
You let me know. I do have one more. I have one more bill I need to pay.
No,
so
I'm okay. I'm looking at my mouth.
Let me know.
I think this may be as good as it gets.
Okay, good. Real quick before we get back to recruiting, someone wanted to know where you got the Liverpool shirt.
S-Ron. Can I tell the truth? I don't remember.
That's what we expect. I don't remember.
I want to say my wife bought this shirt for me, but I was too fat to wear it, and it didn't fit.
Oh,
so it took a while, and then I lost weight, and then the shirt fit. But it's been so long since I've had the shirt that it just hung in the closet until it could fit.
That's a good feeling, though.
So I don't remember. Yeah.
Good
no, it's
like
better than it's still hanging in the closet. In which case, A, I still wouldn't be able to wear it, and B, I still wouldn't remember where it came from. So at least I'm halfway home.
That is true. All right. So we talked about Felix Ojo, and I was going to ask you who the next guy in your mind was, and I was going to guess Jaylen Lot. So this is a guy that's got a little legacy to him, obviously, but he's a badass in his own right. Tell the people about Jaylen Lot, how important you think he is in the class.
I love him. I probably love him more than anybody in the industry. I have him as the number 2 ranked prospect in the state of Texas. Man, he ticks a lot of boxes. He is maybe not quite as freaky of an athlete as his dad, but he might be a better football player. He's just a guy that I think his ceiling is All-American on both sides of the football. So I think he's
that
better
type of
on
guy.
defense.
Can he go legit both sides?
I mean, I think a lot of guys could. I've seen, I don't think there's ever a lack of guys that could do what Travis Hunter did. Okay. I think in terms of like high-end elite players, I'll give you an example. Yeah, a guy like Quandre Diggs could have played corner and played offense. No problem. No problem. And, when he was being recruited at Texas, neither coaches on either side of the ball wanted to claim him as one of their scholarship guys because they were afraid that he would end up on the other side of the ball. There's always, at schools like Texas, there's always like 5 to 10 guys that could do it for sure. Same at Ohio State, same at Georgia. But most of these guys understand that the best way to get to the NFL is to specialize. Travis Hunter's kind of a once in a generation project that maybe we'll see more of. I don't know, but Lot could do it. I think he's better on defense than he is on offense, but teams love him on offense. So, I think that probably should tell you about how good he is on defense, that all of these teams, Terry Bussey's another example of a guy that was like, well, where are you going to play him? You know what I mean? You start thinking about that. Some of these guys end up labeled as athletes, and it's because certainly at the high school level in Texas, you see guys play both ways. Derek Strait, Jesus, when I saw that guy play in high school, I know we're going back a long time, but former Thorpe Award winner at Oklahoma, you should have seen that guy on offense. You're trying to tell me that guy couldn't have also moonlighted with the ball in his hands a little bit at the next level? So, but Jaylen Lot is like that, and I think the thing I've always said about the way Texas should recruit Lot, tell him whatever he wants to hear and then figure it out when he gets here. If he's such a badass that there's no need to even consider another position because at wide receiver he's Des Bryant, then okay.
Yeah. So like Hunter, is it shut down corner on defense for you? Or is it something else?
Oh man. Yeah. I just think of him as a defensive back. Okay. He's so athletic. He brings so much good size to the table. He's for me, he's the prototype kind of perfect defensive back candidate. I think that he's a guy that could play probably anywhere but nickel. Maybe you wouldn't play him at nickel, but I think he can play outside corners. I think he can play either safety spot. Like, I just think he's terrific.
Who's the danger if it's not Texas? If it's not Texas, who's the one they need to worry about? Well,
Oregon has been the school that for a long time they were the leader. At least publicly, he was saying like, "Hey, that's my jam right now." And Texas was kind of lagging behind. USC is another school. His sister's on the USC track team. Texas track team probably could have helped Texas football team out a little bit. They could have made that happen. Just saying. To be fair, the USC track team may win a national championship this weekend. So just saying. But I love this kid, and it would be a real disappointment if this guy goes and plays somewhere else. I just want to watch this guy play football. He is one of those guys that's worth the price of admission.
So again, Jaylen Lot, another one of those big time guys coming in. The Panther Creek product coming in as part of this group. Ojo and others. Also, this is for offensive line. Zayden Crimpen's coming in this weekend as well.
Oh yeah, and I think offensive line recruiting is interesting. You've got Crimpen coming in this week. You've got Samuel Rosenborough coming in this weekend out of Clearwater, Florida. Those are all guys that could end up at Texas. In fact, one of the things that's just really interesting is that I think in a vacuum, all these guys would end up at Texas. The timing of the commitments will be interesting. Go back to that 2022 offensive line class. Think about who the last 3 guys were in that group. Cam Williams, Kelvin Banks, and DJ Campbell.
Finish
And
strong.
if those were the first 3, it might have made it harder to go and get some of those other guys. I mean, they would have had to just sometimes timing is everything. For instance, I think a guy that I think Krempin, all things being equal, would go to Texas. But if Texas were to get Felix Ojo, if they were to get a John Turntine, 2 other guys they're telling you can play tackle, guy that wants to play tackle. And so, what ends up happening is somebody will say, hey, you'll be our top guy instead of being their number 3 guy. But maybe he's the first of the group to commit, and maybe it doesn't completely go down like that. I think it's interesting. Ojo and Krempin at Texas this weekend, knowing that Turntine's at Michigan, taking what may be the most important visit he takes with regards to making a decision. I think we'll probably have a good idea. I think all 3 of those guys may have a pretty good idea of like where things stand coming out of this weekend. If Texas is going to get Turntine, my guess is he'll walk out of Michigan this weekend, maybe doing what Carlton did last weekend for Texas, where suddenly you look at the net and you just go, you know what, I'm good. I don't need to, or you're Ojo and you say, you know what, it's going to be between those 3 schools, and I really don't need to take that visit.
That's what Michigan wants. That's the dream for Michigan, is the exact same pattern.
I mean, but they need him to walk out of there feeling like they've got him, because if it's only even, if they're even, Texas is probably leaving. There's a lot of built-in advantages there that Texas has. The kid really likes Michigan. There's a sense that Texas, though, is the favorite there. And there's a sense that Michigan's got ground to make up. And then they better make up some ground and then some, because Texas will then have its chance.
Since you mentioned Michigan and Turntine, let me mention another name, Catch, that we've talked about this week. Lamar Brown is going to go to A&M this weekend. Also, KJ Edwards, the running back from Carthage, going to do the same thing. But based on our discussions this week, with Carlton canceling his visit to A&M, do you think it changes the attack plan for the Aggies in any way on Lamar Brown?
No. Chad, we still good?
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you fine, but it's that video doesn't. Whoa, that button. No, wait, hold. Popped out, back in. You talking to me? No.
Chad, I'm gonna try to figure this out. Okay.
Okay. All right, you try to figure it out.
I will be back.
All right.
Pay a bill.
Gonna be back.
Kids, get off the internet.
Yelling at kids on the Wi-Fi. It's about to happen. That is about to happen for Jeff Ketchum. All right. And again, KJ Edwards and Lamar Brown both going to A&M this weekend. Ketch mentioned Turntine to Michigan. Also, Chase Calicut, the safety out of North Shore, he's going to Michigan for a visit this weekend as well. Texas commit Chris Stewart, the receiver out of Shadow Creek, he's going to go visit Tennessee. Look at another shade of orange this weekend, and a couple others that jumped out to me. Xavier Crowell, the talented running back, going to go to Auburn for a visit, and Georgia is going to host Derek Cooper, that number 1 all-purpose back. I believe that's his moniker. One of the number 1 backs. Xavier Crowell, number 1 regular running back, if you will. All-purpose back. Derek Cooper is listed as number 1 by Rivals. He's going to visit Georgia this weekend. So lots of big visits to keep an eye on. And again, check out orangebloods.com. Go to that QR code and you can get it that way. While Catch is resetting, I will tell you about one more of our great partners, and it is Taste on Main. We're headed into the weekend. Hopefully you're still getting some good spring-ish weather, even though summer's really coming now that we're in June. But Taste on Main is such a great place to go. It's a casual steakhouse. That's the easiest way to describe it. No stuffy dress code. but just all the great things you look for in a steakhouse in terms of food. The steaks, the, appetizers, the desserts, great drinks. I love the Sam Elliott's mustache, not just because of the name, but it's a great whiskey drink if you're into such things. They do great work. These are the people that bring you Hayes City Store. So yesterday, somebody was talking about Hayes City Store and grabbing that bacon jam burger. And, hey, should I try the pork chop? Yes, you should. And you should try everything at Taste on Main as well. Be sure to ask about that steak done Oscar style, because that's my new favorite way to have a steak there. They just have some incredible stuff. Tell Travis and Tamara and the crew we said hello. It's downtown Buda, great casual atmosphere. It'll become your new favorite steakhouse, I promise. Taste on Main, downtown Buda. All right, let's see. Let's give it a shot. Jeff Ketchum has now yelled at the children on the Wi-Fi. Let's see if it worked. Catch? How we doing?
I mean, can you even see me?
I can see you a little delayed. I can now hear you. When you speak, I can hear you.
I'm like on a second behind
radio.
my video. So Chad, here's what's going to happen. Okay. I'm punting.
See, right now you look good. Right now that last sentence was perfectly on time to me. I like that you're doing weird jaw exercises to test it out.
All right, look, I'm just here's the deal. I'm gonna go until it doesn't go anymore, and then I'm not coming back.
Okay, so if you drop out again, it's over. You're done.
Yeah,
that's
I'm letting you know now. This is my 2-minute warning of sorts.
All right. Does that mean we need to try to squeeze buy or sell in? Does that mean you have one more recruiting thing we need to talk about? What do we do?
I don't know what it means, Chad. I cannot see my mouth moving right now.
Damn. Jen, I hear you. It's like old radio days. It's like you're a guest on the radio right now.
Except I'm not.
True.
Because it's a video product that we do, Chad, on YouTube.
It is. It is a video product. That is true.
It's not a podcast company.
That is true. We could do that. But see, right there, you just caught up. Right there, you just caught up when you laughed. You caught up for me anyway. I don't know.
I'm just doing I'm not doing jaw exercises. Now
it's just the lips.
Just gum exercises.
Now you're like an old man with no teeth trying to eat ham. That's what you're doing?
I don't know. I've never been an old man without teeth trying to eat ham. Is that what they do? I don't know. Have you watched a lot of old men eat ham? Is that how it works?
I had some great grandparents back in the day that would take the teeth out when they tried to eat. It was a little weird. Yeah. It's a little strange back in the day.
Look, we'll do whatever. I'm definitely lagging though.
Yes, you're lagging. We'll power through buy or sell. And then
I don't know that we're going to make it through. I can't do this. Like I cannot.
Can't do it?
I can't do terrible. I can do kind of bad, but I can't volunteer for terrible.
That's crazy.
We're like 40 minutes into the video. I'm good. I'm done.
Okay. Well, you're looking good on my end, but all right. I'll take what you're seeing right now is probably the most important thing.
Bye kids. Bye humbug.
All right. Jeff Ketchum is calling it. He's calling it. Thank you all for liking and subscribing and getting your notifications. I wanted to give Ketch a Metallica buy or sell. That's all I was looking for. So I'll give it to y'all before I close up. Here it is. Ready? Here we go. It's buy or sell. I'm seeing Metallica this weekend. If you could only hear them do one song live, it would be Enter Sandman, buy or sell. That's what I want to know. One song from Metallica. Metalheads, where are you? Is that the song you want to hear? Or is there another one? I'm going to take a drink and let you think on that. Metallica hits NRG this weekend. This is true. Colby, you're not wrong. Guess doesn't want to work on a front. That's a little true. All truth be told, he was leaning a little bit today. A little bit of senior skip day. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Text guy says bye. Okay. He wants Enter Sandman. Mark says Creeping Death. Creeping Death. Solid. That is good. Sandman, did somebody tell me to enter? Well done. S. Roan agrees with Mark and says it's Creeping Death. I hope we hear Creeping Death. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. Everywhere I roam, wherever I may roam is the one you're looking for. Okay. Fantastic. All right. I think mine would be Master of Puppets, but hey, there you go. Let's see. What is this? Cody, glad you're going, Chad. I was trying to make Metallica in Blacksburg a month ago, but it was on a damn Wednesday. Big phono. Yeah, that's not good. Not good. Cody, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun. My nephew has never seen Metallica. He's a huge fan. My brother-in-law raised him on Metallica. Those kids knew the words to Master of Puppets when they were like 2.5. It was crazy. And he's never seen them live. So that's the one. That's the one I'm looking forward to, is watching him watch the show. Fade to Black. Jerry, great call. That'll be an awesome show. You know what? Sandman, if they do Freebird, that would be intense. That would be really good. And also, hey, Mark, me too. Back to back. Metallica on a Saturday night, Hard on a Sunday night. Let's go. Might not be able to pay the mortgage next month, but I'm going to see those two shows back to back. It's going to be fun. And I've never seen Heart, so I'm really looking forward to that. Very cool. Mark says he's seen Metallica 8 times. ATX Bates says effing sell one or Master. Bates, I'm with you on half of that. It's Master of Puppets for me. That would be great. Oh, look at that. Damage Incorporated from S-Road. Very nice. Yeah, that'd be good. I've heard him do Damage Incorporated live. That's good. Would be my first choice. Would not be my first choice. I think I would go with Master. All right, y'all have a great weekend. Sorry, Catch had a little technical stuff there, but we did get a lot of good recruiting stuff out. Ojo coming in this weekend. Jaylen Lot coming in this weekend. Just some of the other big names. Let me just rattle them off real quick. Samari Matthews is coming in. Jake Cruel, the edge out of Florida, coming in. Jabari Mack, that's the one they thought, that's the guy that's committed to LSU. Probably not coming in, but go to orangebloods.com for the very latest, just in case. Bryce Perry Wright, scheduled to come in. Who else is coming in? We mentioned Crimpin. Dre Quinn is coming in. Vodney Cleveland. That's a name to keep in mind. Number 5 D tackle out of the state of Alabama. Could Texas get a guy like that to maybe even commit this weekend? I don't know. Big list coming in, though, headed by Felix Ojo. Get that QR code scanned. Get to orangebloods.com. Get all signed up. War Room was incredible last night, as always. Catches stuff on NIL and the way this works and how the money lays out. It's fascinating stuff if you want to get into the weeds of it, because we're in a wild time with that settlement getting approved. How can you deal with money now versus how you're going to be able to deal with money later on? And is it July 1st, that cutoff date? That's something else I'm trying to figure out. We'll continue to have those discussions, but get to orangebloods.com for the very latest there. It is wild stuff going on in college football right now. Another big weekend coming up. Plus, we mentioned KJ Edwards and Lamar Brown going to College Station. Turntine's going to Michigan this weekend, among some other big names. So orangebloods.com will have all that update for you. Not just the guys that are visiting Austin, but the guys of Texas interest that are also visiting other places. Check out all that great content. Nobody has it like orangebloods.com does. Get signed up today. Thank you, guys. Thanks to all of our partners. Thanks to Specs for getting us that Specs chat. Y'all have a great weekend. Be safe. Enjoy the hockey, basketball, golf at the U.S. Open, all that good stuff. And we'll talk to you on Monday. It's House to